everyone, welcome to Quarter Mile Farm. This is Carrie. Whew, it's been a while since my last video and I've been meaning to make a video, but things got really busy around here and I'll explain more of that later. Right now it is very, very hot outside. I'm trying to remember what date it is. Is it the... Sorry, I can't read it. July 26th, is it really? Yeah, wow. July 26th, and it's currently 102 degrees out right now with part of this heat wave that's coming through. Technically around here 100 degrees is par for the course for the summer, so it's not that bad, but we've just got a week of over 100 degree weather coming up. This is the second day of it. So anyway, I'll go more into what this past month-ish, almost a month, has been like, and I'm gonna show you all the updates around the farm here. I'll probably do that tomorrow though, because it's in the evening here already and I've got supper and I've got karate, so not me, I take a son to karate. But there's one thing that I wanted to do today because I've been meaning to do this for a couple of weeks now, and that is pick my yellow Lodi apples. I'm really excited about this. So we'll go into all of the rest of that tomorrow, but I just wanted to get a video actually started and get my apples picked. So let's go do that now. So here is my lovely yellow Lodi tree. I planted this the first fall that we were here and it's grown quite nicely. And last year we didn't get any apples on it, but this year we've had quite a few. I've actually already picked 2 apples from it because one had a bird pecking at it and it started to get a little rotten spot on it, so I picked it and ate it and it was actually really good. And then there was a second one over here that I picked because it also seemed to have some bird pecking. So anyway, you can see they're kind of yellowish. Let me get that. There you go. Now I actually prefer to pick these when they're more on the green side. They are really nice and tart, and that's how I like to use them for applesauce and for drying, making dried apple slices. But I've left them on the tree because I wanted to pick them with you guys. So here we are. Let's go ahead and pick these. I'm so excited. I'm gonna use these. I don't really have enough to make a batch of applesauce, but these are gonna make beautiful, yummy, delicious dried apples. And I might eat 1 or 2 of them fresh. So we have 1, 2, and look how beautiful they are too. They don't really have any problems with codling moths, it seems. So I don't know if that's just because the codling moths haven't found this tree yet, or if my concoction down here, you remember my concoction in my milk jugs? Maybe, excuse me, maybe that actually worked. I don't know. But they're beautiful apples. They don't seem very wormy at all. Now that one, that's not worm damage though, that's just probably stress from rubbing against the branch maybe, or something else, don't know. Now see, you can see an ant there. An ant has found this. Been having a meal, huh? Get off of there. Let's see, how many more do we have here? Just the one here, I guess. See any others? I don't see any others. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 2 that I picked earlier. So we got 9 apples from my yellow Lodi tree this year. Very cool. All right, so that is it for today. I'm not going to end this video now. I'm going to keep on tomorrow, but I'm going to go take care of these apples now, and we will see you later tomorrow. All right, so it's the next day now, Wednesday, July 27th, and I'm here to do more of an update for you. You can see back here the sunflowers. They are huge. I think some of these are reaching about at least 8 feet tall, which is really cool. So I'm out here by the Notill Garden. I'll give you a little bit update here, and then we'll go in and see the chicks and show you some things in there, and then we'll continue from there. And I don't know how surprising this is for some of you guys, but it might not be surprising for some others of you, but the garden is overgrown. And that's because we've been focusing our efforts on the other garden, and this one I have weeded some in, but not a whole lot. But let's take a walk through the jungle here and I'll show you some updates in here. Okay, over here we have the M.I. Gardener's giant crimson red tomatoes, and they're not turning out very giant for me yet. Doesn't even look like that one over there has any tomatoes on it. You can see they're surrounded by morning glory and grasses and other weeds. And I'm trying to get it weeded out. You can see here I did some weeding the other day. But I think I might leave some of the weeds because this heat has burnt these two tomatoes here. So having a little bit of shade on these right now is probably a good thing, at least through this week. We'll see what next week's weather is supposed to bring. But you can see this one. This one here doesn't have any tomatoes growing on it yet. And neither does this one. So we'll see what comes of those. Here is the peach tree, one of the peach trees that I found in here that had grown up. It has grown, it was like this tall when I found it. Look how much it's grown. It's taller than me now. That's incredible. I should get the other one planted in the ground. Right now I have it in a pot, and it is not as tall as this one, so I'll probably actually wait until fall to plant it. It's a little hot for planting right now, but this is the final tomato plant in the lineup here. The giant red crimson, and no tomatoes on that one either. But here is the grape arbor that we made, and you can see I have most of the vines chained up over it. There's a few runaway ones, but isn't that neat? Once we get this all cleaned up and have our little chair in here, our little bench. Let's see if I can get back here. Yikes! Here is a horseradish that keeps popping up. The previous owner planted that there. I did not. But look at this sunflower, how thick that stalk is. That's really cool. Alright, I wanted to check on a rhubarb plant that was back here. This is one of them, and it's finally coming back. This year was not a good year for rhubarb. I heard a lot of rhubarb farmers in the area were just commenting that it was not a good year. The other rhubarb plant is like there. Okay, I see some rhubarb leaves. Earlier this year it was developing some rusty red spots on the leaves and dying, and it's good to see that it seems to be over that, and now it's just growing regular leaves, so that's good. Just a little bit of rhubarb there. Need to get them uncovered from these sunflowers, it looks like. Alright, my sweet potatoes in here. They had been drowned out by weeds a little while ago, so I came through and weeded, and now they have started overtaking, so that's good. Still some weeds coming in here, and this awful Bermuda grass. Looks like we have some tomatillas coming up in here or something. What is that? Maybe that's sweet potato vine. Nope, that's not sweet potato vine. Unless they have yellow flowers on them. I've never known them to have yellow flowers though. Yeah, not sweet potato vine. Okay. Lettuce that's gone to seed, or that's bolted. I love seeing this kind of stuff pop up all over the place. So in here I actually planted more of my honeyberry plants, but they have been overwhelmed by weeds. I need to come in here and clean out. That is high on my list to take care of. All right, I'm not gonna go traipsing through there. But I did plant some peppers in this row over here. So some of them are not covered in weeds and some are, so you can see here. And this one is covered in, well, that's not it, that's charred. But there's pepper there, here, here, there, there. And there was a jalapeno pepper right in here. Let's see if it's been overwhelmed by the comfrey and the kale here. There it is. There it is, right there. Nope, it's got a tiny little jalapeno on there. Okay, let's go and check out the chickens. Oh, and you remember Bruno? We actually are trying to change his name. We don't feel Bruno's a good fit for him. So we decided on Juno, like Juneau, Alaska. And it rhymes with Bruno, so it's an easy transition for him. But sometimes we forget and just come out with Bruno. We'll get it eventually. All right, one last look here. Oh, by the way, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and it's already 82 degrees out. We've been doing some work along here. We took down, I say we, it was my husband and kids. We had a fence up along here, so we took that down. We just kind of wanted to open this up, and I would like to put just kind of like a split rail fence here. Just kind of leave it more open and a little more natural looking than the cattle panel that was up here. And then along here, my dad has actually come through and just cut down a bunch of the weeds, and now he's leveling the ground because it was very uneven. We had spots where the muskrat had come through and dug dens underneath, and then as you come walking along, you sink down. So we had a couple of those sinkholes here, and then, you know, you can see here it's just kind of dips down and then back up. And look, another rhubarb. And then he's been also bringing it in from that side as well. Guten Morgen, Chickenbacken. How are you doing this fine day? Hello, Lord Featherington, ladies. So we've been doing a lot out there. I'll take you out there in a bit and show you. Right now I need to feed the chickens. Just kind of a quick peek at some of the stuff out here that's been going on. Ever since we got Bruno Juno, a lot of the cats won't come up to the house to be fed anymore, so I've taken to putting some food up here, hoping that the coons and possums won't be able to get this food. If I put it down on the ground, Juno will get it, so don't want to do that. Just kind of using some makeshift dishes here for them. This is one of those chicken feeder dishes. But we have 3 cats that won't come to the door, and only one stays inside all the time now. So Chicky wickies. Ciao. Hey, ready? All right, I have some surprises for you. Let's go look. Well, here in the chicken coop, we've been dealing with a lot of broody hens. I think I had at least 5 broody hens. Well, trying to be broody. And I finally told, well, 2 of them, sorry, you're not gonna do it anymore. And then a third one I actually had in here, and I didn't like what her history was, because it seemed like she would sit and sit and sit on the eggs, and then every now and then I'd find an empty eggshell or a broken eggshell, and so she was like eating the eggs. And I witnessed it in here. Again, this is that first section of the chicken coop. I have it closed off from the others because I had all the broody hens over there, and the other hens would come in and lay, and then these chickens would be laying on like half the eggs that were laid that day, and I'd be getting like, 3 or 4 eggs a day, and I'm like, this is not doing it. So I had to move the broody hens in here to be separate and to keep them from getting more eggs and to kick off the hens that I didn't want to be broody. So right now I have 2 broody hens, and let me show you what's going on with them. So this is one lady, and I haven't heard a peep out of her eggs, so I don't know if they're viable eggs or not, or if they're going to be hatching here soon. They should be hatching here very soon if she's going to be hatching any. But over here, this is my trusty mama. You see how defensive she's getting, because you can see there are 4 baby chicks in there, and there should actually be another one. We actually ended up, one of the hens that was trying to be broody but decided not to be, she abandoned a nest that had like, 18 eggs in it or so, maybe more. I ended up taking some of them inside to the brooder, and I had 3 of these baby chicks. One of these gray ones, I think that striped one in the front there, and then if not, oops, sorry mama, sorry, my finger's getting in your space. If not that striped one, then one like it, because I came out here to check for eggs and just see how they're doing, and she had a baby chick. So I decided to bring these other 3 that had hatched inside out here, and when I brought them out last night, she actually had a second baby that had hatched. I'm not seeing it now, so it might just be under her wings, but she did have 2 baby chicks out here to go along with the 3 that I brought out. So it's good to see she's taken those 3 under her wing. I don't know what happened to that other one. Where's that other one, mama? Huh? Where's the other one? Can we look for it? So I'm just really grateful that she's taken them under her wings. We did hatch, I showed you before, I think we hatched about 5, and we ended up selling them to a friend of ours, and then we tried another hatch, and out of the 12 eggs only 1 came out, so we just ended up giving them to that set of friends who bought the other ones. And then we weren't going to try again until we came back from a little mini vacation to Idaho to visit family, but I had that broody hen that abandoned the nest, so I ended up taking those inside, and 2 of them hatched while we were gone. So hi mama, just want to see, is there another one somewhere, huh? So anyway, I'm glad that she took these baby chicks under her hand. Oh, where I was going with that is we decided to keep any of them out of this hatching rather than sell them, just so we can freshen our flock a little bit, because we do have some hens that are getting old. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on these guys, and hopefully we can find So I just went outside to give the other chickens some water, and I came back in to check, and now you can see all 5 baby chicks. You can see the 3 striped ones and then the 2 gray ones. So out here is where I've planted some rows of strawberries, and I think I showed some of you in a previous video, which the others of you that haven't seen it can go find it. There was a volunteer squash plant that came up here, and I think we finally determined, after seeing dozens upon dozens of fruit come on, that it was a spaghetti squash. Now we're still going to probably have to wait till we open it to make sure that it wasn't some kind of crossbreed, but I think it's a spaghetti squash. I have it covered with a row cover right now because one day it was huge and beautiful, and it was just growing all the way out. I mean, it was up to here. It was huge. And the next day I came out, it had gotten into the upper 80s, low 90s, and was just wilted down. And so I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know if the squash borer beetle had gotten to it, or the squash bugs, which we haven't really had a whole bunch of squash bugs this year. Some, but not a lot. But I didn't see a lot of squash bugs. I haven't seen any squash boring beetles. So I just decided it must have been the heat got to it. So you can see it's all wilted away. There are, these are still growing just fine all the way out here. I'm curious to see if maybe they grew some roots down along the vine somewhere, because it's so dead and wilted in here that I'm surprised that the outer leaves here are still growing. But I'll pan through it in a bit and show you. Ooh, I see a baby squash bug here. I'll pan through here in a little bit and just show you the number of squash that this plant had on it. First of all, some of the strawberry plants, they are having a second season. These are probably everbearing. I think they're Seascape is what they were called. And you can see they're blooming and producing more. They're sending out runners, so they're going to fill this whole area up. If you watched me plant these, you know that I planted a lot in here, and not very many of them survived. Some more than in other rows, but you can see we need to weed in here too. But we've got some nice red strawberries here and there. So anyway, well, let me show you. I'm pretty sure these are spaghetti squash, but we're going to open them up just to make sure that the insides match what the outsides are saying. But you can see, look at the sheer number of these was just amazing to me. I've never grown spaghetti squash before, so I didn't know, what the plants were like. And just see, I'm pretty sure we could count about 50 on here, and those are just still growing nicely. Some of these littler ones over here, you can see they're a little wilty. They didn't really have enough time to grow before the vine just wilted away. So, like, the smaller ones just aren't going to make it, but these bigger ones should be fine. So I'm going to get that covered back up, but I'll just come over here real quick, show you some more of the strawberries. Runners all over the place. And then our final row is out there. And then if you see over here, I had pulled this black tarp from there over to here to cover up the weeds that were growing here. And while this was killing off weeds here, we decided to go ahead and plant this area. So I planted a bunch of pickling cucumbers and dill. Now this row only had like 5 or 6 cucumber plants come up. And this row has about 20 some. This row is dill. elephant dill, I do believe. And then this row is actually lemon cucumbers, which I like to pickle lemon cucumbers when they're smaller on the green side still. They make some pretty nice pickling cucumbers. When they're big and yellow, they're not so good because they don't fit in the jar very well because they're big and round. They take up even a wide mouth jar. They'll take up the mouth of the jar, so you can't really get it in and out very easily. So I just like to use the smaller ones. I had quite forgotten that here we have a row of the strawberries, and then the spaghetti squash, and then another row of strawberries. I had quite forgotten that I planted some dill in this row as well. So we're gonna have lots of dill. But that's good because we planned for the pickling cucumbers and the dill to be one of our income producing plants this year. So we'll see how well these do for us. And if we do well at it, then we'll probably grow even more next year. So I'm gonna grab this huge weed right here. I obviously need to come through and weed my strawberry and cucumber patch, but the boys have actually been doing a good job of getting in between the rows. But when it comes to the actual row of strawberries, we had too many fatalities of the strawberry plants. So I just told Brent, I'll weed the top of the hills. You and the boys can weed the little, or in between, in the valleys. This one's gonna be a hard one without uprooting some of the dill. Oops. We got maybe one. All right, on to another area. But just real quick, one of the hazards of using straw in your garden is you get some wheat coming up. So now I have to decide, do I want to leave the wheat so I can harvest some wheat berries, or do we pull them out so that they don't overtake the garden? What do you think we should do? Here are some sunflowers just outside the chicken run garden. Beautiful. All right, so here we are in what was actually, I think, the first day of my June on the Farm series here in the chicken run, where I planted some beans and some corn on the very first day. And let me take you around in here and show you everything that's happened in here since then. All right, so here is where I planted the first beans. And some of the first ones I planted here are doing wonderfully. Now there was a mix of green and purple and yellow. And I'm seeing here, there's actually some beans I can harvest. These must be a yellow variety. Didn't realize there were beans ready to pick already. That's cool. This little handful here. We'll check some of the other plants too. Cool, look at that. And now, not a lot of the beans that I planted came up. Some of the bigger ones that you see here were the original ones I planted, but there were a lot of holes left. Some of the seeds just did not grow. So I came through and I replanted, and then I replanted again in some of those other holes that didn't get filled. So we have beans of varying stages in here, which is just fine because beans will produce for a long time, but it also will help to stagger the growth in here, just so, you know, maybe I'm not overwhelmed with all of them all at once. But I think I'm going to be overwhelmed anyway because I have a lot of beans planted, which is fine because I will cut them up and freeze them. I don't know that I'll can them just because I have pressure canned before, but I don't like to. So I'll probably just cut them up and freeze them. So anyway, I will go through and pick some more of the beans after I show you some of the other Back here is the corn, so let me show you that. Hey Tiger, nice of you to come visit. Hey. Sweet thing. Hi there. So you can see here with the corn, it happened much like with the beans. We had a lot of the corn come up, but then there were also a lot of holes. And I came through and replanted with Stowell's sweet corn. That's not what I originally planted here, but they're both sweet corn, so it doesn't really matter to me. And these are so far behind that I don't even think there's going to be a problem of cross-pollination anyway, but that doesn't really matter to me. I'm not really saving these for seeds. I'm saving them for food. So I know future food, but I also see some blackberry vines growing up and over the fence, so we'll have to come take care of those. I also see some catnip growing through, so I actually need to go through. The other side of this fence is the creek, and there's a small walkway along there, but it's completely filled with weeds, so I need to come through and clean that out. Hi. You're just so distracting, aren't you, kitty? This is Tiger Tom. For those of you that don't know, he's a farm cat that came with the place. The previous owners didn't feel that he would make the move very well to the other side of the state, so they asked if we would take him on, and we said of course. So anyway, the corn is getting nice and tall, and I see some tassels already starting to come out, so pretty cool. I don't see any ears developing yet though, so hopefully that'll be on the way. All right, so we had bean and corn on this side of the garden. Let's go over to the other side, and oh, there's another plant right there I should show you. Now this is a funny one. I had bought a pot of what was termed darling, I think, darling pumpkin, something like that. I don't know, the tag is somewhere way down in there. So the squash plant was growing nicely. You can see there. There's a huge pumpkin there, and another one there, and another one there, and another one there. But when I was first out here looking at the plant, I've already harvested some things from this plant. There's actually 4 plants in here. Not seeing any of the other ones, but I think 2 of these plants are zucchini plants and the other 2 are pumpkin. See, there's another pumpkin growing right there. That's a second vine. But this plant right here is actually a zucchini, and I'm shocked I don't see any other zucchini, but I've already harvested 3 zucchini from here, so thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, that does not look like a pumpkin. Surprised there aren't any more growing, but anyway. So we have these pumpkin growing here, and they're kind of overtaking the beans. There's a bean plant right there, but we'll try to direct them over to the corn so it covers the ground over there. But I'm excited to have those pumpkins already growing, because that's going to be one of our other cash crops this year. Along with the pickling cucumbers and dill, we planted lots of pumpkin, and those will be on another update. I won't go over those today. All right, let's come over here to this side of the garden. This garden right here was actually planted by my stepmom and my sister, and you can see that's got a lot of good growth. They've harvested quite a bit of things out of here already, so lots of production happening here. Now this was my second patch of corn that I planted. This is the Stowell's sweet corn, and I have to say I think every single one of those came up starting to tassel already. These right here are some Sweet 100 tomatoes. I had a third one there, but it got dug up by a not so exuberant weeder. So I think I've had 1 or 2 cherry tomatoes off of those. I don't even see very many blooms right now. There's a few, but in this hot weather the tomatoes don't like to produce very much, except for apparently hers but it got a good start before mine. You can see it's got some of that same sunburn that my other tomatoes have over in the other garden. You can see she's got some nice teeny tinies there. Okay, on to this one. Okay, so here I have dill, more dill, and this is a replant because my husband came through and I had told him, let's weed the pathway here and put straw down. Well, because I had these sticks along in here, but I didn't have these, he took that to mean that this was a pathway between the cucumbers and the corn, and so he weeded in here. And if he hadn't have weeded, all of my dill would be this size right now instead of that size. Oh, he felt really bad about it, but yes, I told him, you need to ask me before you weed somewhere. But my cucumber plants in here are doing very well. I'm seeing lots of blooms now, and hopefully we'll be getting some cucumbers very soon. I need to do a bunch of my own pickling because I love my homemade pickles, and so does one of my sons. And we ran out already from the ones I canned last year, so. Got some blooms, but I don't see any baby pickles yet. Yeah. Oh, right there. There's a baby pickle. Over here along this fence, I planted some Mexican sweet gherkins. Sweet? No, sour. Sour gherkins. And you can see right there, if you can, there's a baby one. Several baby ones. This is my first time growing them, so it's going to be fun to watch them grow. I've heard they're good for pickling, so we'll give that a try, but we're also going to see about selling some as well. So I have about 3 or 4 plants here, and they're just sending out tendrils all over the place. So I've been trying to train them up here, but they just kind of grow wherever they want. So I had planted some, hopefully some chicken plants in here. I don't think it's there. Oh, here. I had like 2 amaranth plants survive through all of that I planted. So that'll be nice. At least there's 2. All right, so this about does it for this update. Sorry it's taken me so long to get it done. Let me just tell you a little bit about what happened as to why I just haven't made any videos. So July 1 through 4, I work for a fireworks booth, except for Sabbath this year. And so that kept me busy for those 4 days plus Sabbath. And then trying to remember all that happened. So I also have a part-time job proctoring aviation tests on Mondays and Wednesdays in the morning. So that takes up my Monday and Wednesday mornings. And I usually like to do my videos in the mornings because it's cooler. And then one of the local towns has a Tuesday market and another local town has a Friday market. So I was starting to do the proctoring more regularly, and then I had the Tuesday market in the evenings and then the Friday market, which is morning to afternoon. And so my week started to just really fill up, and then I had errands to run and I had groceries to buy, and just everything was coming up, just to the point even that my third son was saying, can't you just stay home for more than an hour? So I started realizing I need to kind of cut back on how busy I am, especially outside of the house. So anyway, for those 2 or 3 weeks in there, we were just kind of adjusting to summer on the farm with being busy with everything. And every time we were out here, I'm like, oh, that would make a good video, or we should video this. And it just never happened because it just was too much to have to go get the camera and bring it out and get it set up and all that kind of stuff. So we just tried to focus on getting things done here on the farm. And the update that I'm going to show you tomorrow, you will see all that we have been doing on that side of the garden. It's pretty cool how things are looking now. So anyway, that's why I haven't made a video until now. Life just got kind of crazy there for a few weeks, and wouldn't you know it, now that the weather is going to be above 100 degrees for the next week or so, now I have the time to make a video. Very fitting, because right now it's 9 o'clock and I've already got a nice little sheen going on, so it's lovely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go through the beans and pick some more of those that are ready, and I think we'll call it a day after that. I do have the apples that I want to cut into slices, so I'll probably and dehydrate, and so I'll probably show you how I do that as well. But other than that, I think that's it for today. I'm just gonna say goodbye now, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us here on Quarter Mile Farm. Bye. Of how many pounds our farm produces this year. So 7 ounces of green beans, yellow green beans. Off of that plant in the chicken run garden. We ate one for supper the other day.